Okay, good evening everyone, and welcome to our webinar, Roadmap to College Admission. Hosting tonight will be Lori Brooks, our Assistant Director for School Counseling Services here at the School District of Lee County.
Good evening. My name is Lori Brooks, Assistant Director of School Counseling Services, and joining me this evening is Ms. Mary Lynn Rodriguez, Coordinator of Counseling Services. Together, we work on the continuum of kindergarten through grade 12 counseling services for the school district. Welcome to our webinar this evening. We're very happy that you've joined us, and we hope that you learn a lot. We have much to share with you, so let's get started. Tonight, we will be discussing post-secondary planning, specifically admission to a state university or private college. So tonight's presentation format is a live webinar where you will also have the opportunity to submit questions and we will answer them live for you. So this evening, we'll start by discussing the gamut of post-secondary options. The first option is public state university, or what we call SUS, State University System, or a private college or university. These are typically your four-year colleges, and they offer a four-year baccalaureate degree. And some examples on the screen are Florida State University, the University of Florida, FGCU, to mention some of our public universities in Florida, and then colleges outside of the state, such as Boston College, and then another example is Stetson, which is a private college in Florida. The second post-secondary option that students may take advantage of are state colleges, and these are two-year colleges in the state of Florida under the state college system, and they also offer select four-year bachelor's degrees. These are typically institutions where students may earn their AA degree and then matriculate to a four-year university for the additional 2 years for their bachelor's degree. However, just a reminder again, as you see on your screen, some of our state colleges, such as our local partner, Florida Southwestern State College, also offers a few four-year degrees as well. Technical college is the third type of post-secondary option. These are technical colleges such as Cape Coral Technical College, Fort Myers Technical College. We also have Universal Technical Institute in Orlando. There are plenty of technical schools nationwide and many in the state of Florida. And these offer certificate programs, and many of those certificate programs, which also give students highly specialized training, they matriculate many of them to college degree programs. We also have students that may take advantage of going into the armed forces or the military, and then some of our students will go directly into the workforce. The most important takeaway from this evening, even though we are focusing on state university admissions, is that out of these 5 options, every student needs to graduate from high school with a solid plan to pursue one of these 5 opportunities. So I've mentioned that the focus of this webinar will be on university admissions, which you probably already know is a competitive and selective admissions process. So while preparation is key for any of the 5 post-secondary plans, this particular venture, if you want to call it that, the path that you choose to travel, you need to plan well in advance and you need to establish yourself so that you begin with the end in mind and you're ready for the admissions process. Now, future webinar topics will cover some of these other post-secondary topics as well. For those of you who may be wondering, are we going to give the others as much attention? And the answer is absolutely. So why go to college? Sometimes parents and students will ask that question, why is college important? And we understand too that not everybody wants to go to college, but the most important piece of post-secondary advising from our school counselors is that everybody has some type of post-secondary training that they will pursue. So when you go to college, you have increased career opportunities. Sometimes people earn a degree in an area and then they're employed in a career that may be related directly to that area, such as nursing, or the degree may be the entry point to obtain a career in an alternate area. So we all want to win $1 million. Who doesn't? And here's your $1 million ticket. Because when you go to college and you graduate, the U.S. Census Bureau shows, the statistics show that college graduates will earn $1 million more in a lifetime than someone who does not go to college. So everyone wants to be a millionaire? Students, here's your opportunity. In addition, you have opportunities at the university level to develop and grow. You study a wide variety of subjects along with your targeted degree program. You become more independent just by the nature of being on a college campus because you're truly treated as an adult. You meet a lot of new people and you really have broader experiences and access to items that will enrich you through the college experience in addition to the coursework that you will study. So tonight specifically, we're going to talk, as I stated, about state university and private college admissions. These are your four-year colleges, and what we're going to work on is helping you as students and parents make your college plan, work the plan, and then gain admission, because that will be your ultimate goal by the time you graduate, is we want you to be admitted, and you would like to be admitted to the college of your choice. So we begin with the end in mind. Effective planning and preparation is critical. And even if you're uncertain of post-secondary plans, making choices now will keep college on the table and available as an option when you solidify your plans. So planning includes the student, the parent, the school counselor, and several other teammates within your schoolhouse. The most important pieces are you as the student, you as the parent, and your school counselor is really a navigator to help you through this process. Let's talk a little bit about 8th grade students. So if you're an 8th grade student and you're watching this evening, it's my hope that through 6th and 7th grade you're already taking some advanced courses. And if you are not, let's think about 8th grade. If you're in 7th grade, let's pay attention to this planning. But if you're in 8th grade, you want to consider taking Algebra 1. Because this will ensure that pre-calculus or calculus can be taken as a senior in high school. When you start with Algebra 1 in 8th grade, you have the ability to earn one of your first high school math credits. And then when you take an additional 4 years of math in high school, you graduate sometimes with 5 or 6 credits in math, which also provides you access to higher level math courses. And studies have shown that the more rigorous math you take, the more prepared you are for college. Consider taking a world language course. We also call this foreign language. Several of our middle schools offer Spanish, and you may have a French option. Please consider engaging in that in middle school. And then it's really important to employ good study habits, because if you develop those while you're in middle school, you're definitely going to be ahead of the game in high school and in college. Can't forget college. That's the whole subject of our conversation tonight. You also want to start researching colleges of interest. Now is the time to start really taking a look around. We have some helpful websites at the end of this webinar that will give you access to virtual college tours. You want to also become familiar with each college's high school graduation requirements. Now we know what you need to graduate from high school. However, what you need for SUS or state university and competitive college admissions is a little bit more. So we want to keep that in mind as we go through this webinar tonight. So it's really important that you visit the college websites and get the idea of what they're looking for as far as the type of student and then what you need on your transcript when you graduate from high school. And again, in middle school and high school, involve your school counselor. It's really important when you are in the middle grades that you tell your school counselor that your desire is to follow a college prep program, because as they help you plan your high school 9th grade courses, they need to keep that in mind so that you can access some of the more advanced courses. You have to remember too, students, be your own advocate. That is the most important thing to remember as you go through school. We need to know what your goals are, and that requires you sharing that with the adults in your lives. Now, as far as parents go, you have a plan too. So for your 8th grade student, help your child set goals for the year. So working towards specific goals will help you keep your child on track, and it will help your child stay on track because you'll be checking in, making sure they're still motivated and focused. Review the school calendar and place important dates on a shared calendar that everyone in the family can see. And check in with your child regularly to review schoolwork. Check their grades. Make sure you are seeing what they've turned in, what they may be missing, what are their grades, if they're starting to slide a little or if they're going up and improving. Let's celebrate successes and also head off any potential problems as a team. One of the most important things I can share with 8th grade parents this evening and students is please attend the high school choice open houses that will be coming up in the winter. So around December, January, please look at the district calendar and research the dates of the high school open houses in your zone, and please attend all of them. This will give you an idea as students and parents as you seek your 9th grade enrollment and you begin the power of choice when you choose your high school to learn all about the programs that each of our wonderful high schools offers, and then how you feel when you're in that high school building for that open house. Because good fit is very important. You have to feel like it's the right place for you to be, and you have to look at their academic programs and make a determination if that also is a good fit for your high school choice. As a family, discuss ways to take on challenges. Rigorous courses can build your students' confidence and prepare your student for higher level high school courses. And we talked about challenges and also celebrating successes. And then it's never too early to visit colleges, and you might select some nearby schools to visit. It may just be a Saturday campus walk-on, or you may look for events that are free for the community. But the more our students are on the college campus, the more they have that interest in engaging in college, but also starting to get an idea of where they feel comfortable and which campus may be the right choice for them. Now, we're going to start talking about high school and what to do from grades 9 through 12. So as we move in that direction, I would like you to look at the student profile in front of you. And at the top of that profile is rigor. Because as you engage in high school, we've talked a little bit about rigor in middle school, but starting in grade 9, what you are doing is building your resume. And your transcript is going to be the first item that a post-secondary university or college reviews for your college admission. And it's really important to understand that the first item that state universities and colleges look for are rigor. It's rigor. Did the student take the most rigorous courses available to them? The second item they look for is the academic performance within those rigorous courses. So over my years working with high school students, I've had students that have said to me, Ms. Brooks, I really don't think I want to try honors classes or AP because I may not get an A in those classes, and I'm going to stick with my safety where I know that I can get that A and I can perform. And we tell students all the time, remember that your colleges are looking for rigor first. Did you challenge yourself? And then the performance within that rigor is the secondary piece of importance. It is important. If you can challenge yourself and take rigorous courses like honors, AP, IB, Cambridge ACE, dual enrollment, and you will find yourself performing within that rigor, there's your win-win. Rigor and academic performance, the top two items on that circular graph. Now look down towards, we're going to go in clockwise order, look down to the SAT and ACT scores. That's factor number 3 that an admissions officer will look for. So first they're looking for all the rigor, then they're looking at the performance within the rigor. And by the way, a B in a rigorous course is better than an A in a regular level course, because again, they're looking at you earned the B in the course, but you learned probably higher level course standards, how to study for college, all of those things that go with it. So as they look at your transcript rigor, they look at your GPA, which is your academic performance, they're now looking at your SAT and ACT scores, and those are a very good indicator of college success. So you need to prepare for those, and we're going to talk about that on your to-do list, because it's important that when you sign up for SAT and ACT, you've actually prepared since 9th grade. Another item that colleges will look at after the big 3, they're now going to look at how well-rounded are you as a student, but also things like extracurricular activities. And within your clubs and your sports and your organizations, they're looking for leadership. They want to know if you've exercised certain leadership roles within those activities. So keep that in mind as you participate. You can be very selective in your clubs and your sports that you're going to engage in. You don't have to do 20 things. But as you engage in those specific tasks, seek leadership within those tasks. It may be that you are the secretary or you're going to be the historian of a certain club. You may be president, but within each of those roles, those are good items to put on your college resume. Then we look at internships and volunteer hours. That also includes job shadowing, and internships will help you grow your knowledge of careers and help you make some determinations of whether or not you really think you're going to enjoy that career. Volunteer hours are very important. You're going to hear about a scholarship all through high school called the Bright Future Scholarship. And so volunteer hours are important because they also help you gain admissions to universities and earn scholarship dollars. And the last and another important item are what we call 21st century skills. So parents, you can partner with schools on these items in this category. This is things like problem-solving skills, resiliency, how do students respond to a challenge, resumes, interviewing, all of those skills, teamwork, collaboration. These are what we call 21st century skills. These are a lot of skills that parents are teaching their children since birth. And schools are providing opportunities for students to also engage in growing their skills. So that definitely is a team effort. But you'll notice that it makes the student profile list. So together, those 6 items are you. And how well you engage in all of those 6 categories will determine some of the opportunities you have at the end of your high school career. Now you're in high school, congratulations. Let's talk about 9th grade. So for the 9th grade student, first thing is hit the ground running. Do your best to get good grades. And if you struggle, talk to your teachers, talk to your parent, talk to your school counselor. Please make sure that you practice good study habits. Aim for 1 hour of study each weeknight. If you want to do more, great. But even if you have no homework, 1 hour of reviewing all the things you learned in your courses will really help you when it comes time for tests. Research colleges that interest you. Start keeping a notebook of the college course requirements and also the likes and dislikes that you found regarding that specific school. Kind of the pluses and deltas, if you will, of the things you really think are pluses for that school and then maybe some things you're not quite sure about. Begin identifying your areas of academic strength. One of the things that really serves high school students well, especially when they're looking to engage in rigor and they're not quite sure, should I do full honors in 9th grade? Should I try to pick and choose? Talk to your counselor, talk to your parents. If you have a strength in math, dive into the honors level of that math class. If you struggle a little bit in language arts, it's okay to choose regular level the freshman year, and if you do really well, let's engage you in honors your sophomore year. So you can pick and choose at first, go with your strengths, but I think you'll find you feel empowered by the rigor to go into the other areas, and eventually you may have all honors or advanced courses in all subject areas. Visit your school counselor regularly. That is on every slide. They are going to get to know you for 4 years, and they can be your greatest asset in addition to your supportive parents and other trusted adults in your life. Create a 4-year high school plan. Know the high school courses required by colleges. Now, this is not that difficult because our high school graduation requirements revolve around 4 credits of English, 4 credits of math, 3 credits of science, 3 specific credits of social studies. I'm going to focus on just the core academic areas right now. There are other requirements. But if you do 4 years of English, 4 years of math, and you took algebra in middle school, now you'll have 5 years of math or 5 credits. 3 credits of science are required. And so you really need to take that fourth science. And then you have 3 social studies that are required, but you can also take additional social studies electives. These are what we call core academic electives. These are electives that when you take them beyond the requirements for graduation, you are building that transcript of credits that a university will consider in your GPA and the credits they look at to see if you are college ready. In addition, world language is not a high school requirement, but state universities require 2 years of world language. A little known secret is that a 3rd and 4th year of that world language are bonus points. If I'm a state university or private university admissions officer and I see 2 years of, let's say, Spanish or French on a student's transcript, that's great. They met the requirement. But if I see a 3rd and 4th year, I'm pulling those credits and grades in, and most of those 3rd and 4th year courses are at honors and AP level. I'm pulling that into your grade point average, and I'm looking at that as great job. You took additional language to become more fluent. Meet with your school counselor. We've talked about that. Map out taking courses and which year and where you should be looking at in that 4-year plan. And then explore your interests and abilities and careers that may align. So we want to do an interest survey and then align careers to your interests that may spark your path to determining what your career choice will be. You'll see a website up there called floridashines.org. Floridashines.org is a free career planning website. It's powered by the Cooter Company. They've been in this business for many decades, and it's a free website for students in Florida. And parents, you can use it too for your own interest and abilities assessments if you're looking to maybe change careers. So it's floridashines.org, and you can access what we call My Career Shines. Okay, 9th grade family action plan. Encourage your child to research those careers. Help talk to them about interests and then also focusing on goals. Career goals may change. It's the thought process that really counts because your student is thinking, forward thinking, focusing on their career goals, and the career goals can change, and that's okay. But you're focusing on the future. And then suggest to your student extracurricular activities. 10th grade, keep with the plan, continue earning good grades, aim for 2 hours of study time each weeknight, start visiting those colleges. We've talked about that, but now if you want to as a family, go to some colleges around the state. We talked about local, just keep that on your agenda. Consider job shadowing to learn about careers, and then during the summer months, participate in meaningful activities such as workshops, programs, and enrichment. This is one of the most critical 10th grade pieces for parents and students. Take the PSAT. It is free. It is offered to all sophomores, and it's offered in October at your high school. Please engage in that test opportunity and visit your counselor. Do we have questions? Okay. Family action plan. Meet with your school counselor again, parents. Check to see that any prerequisites to the junior and senior level advanced courses are being taken. And this is, again, your job is to ensure your child takes the PSAT because, again, it's free, but it also links your student directly to how it's a performance indicator of how they would do on SAT junior and senior year, and it also links them to a very important tool I'm going to talk to you about called Khan Academy. Is your child interested in attending a U.S. military academy? Because that does require a lot of very thoughtful and deliberate planning. And if so, you'll want to attend the student and parent briefing event offered every fall by the school district. This event is being held at Fort Myers High School. I believe the date is November 14th. Visit your high school counselor because they have this information. And it's at Fort Myers High School at 6 p.m. on November 14th, I believe. And we do offer it every year. Attend college and career fairs. And again, supporting your child's participation in school activities and volunteer efforts. And we're talking about college tours again. The 11th grade student action plan, this is where we now go into seasons. and we start talking about what to do when, because we talk about summer, fall, winter, and spring. And we'll do this for the rest of your last 2 years of high school. Do you have a question,
Yes,
Mary Lynn?
I do have a question.
We're going to stop for a question for a moment.
Okay, so Lori, what if I've never gone to see my school counselor before? How would I do that at a school?
That's a great question. Thank you for that. To visit your school counselor, each school has a different process. Some schools are using a program called Castle, where students can log on and enter their request to see the counselor, and then the counselor gets that request on their desktop, and they can send for the student. Some schools are using a different request system, where you can go into the guidance office and sign up to see your counselor. The most important thing I can offer you is we have 14 high schools and many middle schools. Ask what the process is, and then engage in that process so you can access your school counselor.
Okay,
Because it may vary from school to school.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, juniors, visit your school counselor. Are you getting my message? School counselor. Fill your schedule with a majority of academic courses. Take that rigor, maintain good grades. Remember that college admissions officials will be reviewing your GPA from grades 9 through 11. And you may think, well, what about my senior year? When you apply to the universities, you're applying at the very beginning of your senior year, typically the end of September, beginning of October. So when your transcript is sent, they have 9th, 10th, and 11th grade courses to review, and that grade point average that goes with it. Now, your senior year is important, and we'll talk about why you need to finish strong. But it's important to keep in mind that you do have 3 years worth that they will see to make their initial admissions decision. Now, juniors, you've already taken the 10th grade PSAT, but now you may take it again. The PSAT, and you'll see the acronym has changed a little bit on the screen. The PSAT NMSQT is offered to juniors only. And this time when you take the PSAT, you can take it to qualify for that second acronym, the National Merit Scholarship. I forget the rest of the acronym, I'm so sorry, but it's the National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test. That's what it's called. And if you rank in a certain percentile across the nation of juniors that take this test, you may be eligible for the National Merit Scholarship. So sign up for that test as a junior as well. And that's why the 10th grade PSAT is critical, because it's like your practice test for the junior test. And then please take your ACT and SAT between February and June in your junior year. These tests are designed for testing and retesting. And if you would please remember that when you take this test in spring of your junior year, and I'm starting you in February of your junior year, you really want your best scores by June. If you're going to a university, you're applying to a university such as UF or Florida State, if you're taking your SAT scores for the first time in August, September, or October of your senior year, you typically are going to get your score reports beyond the deadline for admissions. So please take your SATs in your junior year. Do you have more questions for me?
I do.
Okay, we'll take a break for questions.
Okay. We have a question. When is a good time to start applying for scholarships?
That's an outstanding question. You'll see on some of our slides as we start moving through that it's really important that students review scholarship opportunities and understand the scholarships that are available. And you can do that in your freshman year, sophomore, junior. When you really apply for them is typically your senior year. The majority of scholarships are available to students that are seniors, and the scholarships will start coming in on a rolling basis from September all the way through about April, and their deadlines are all different. So some scholarships are due in November, some are not due until April or May. So it's really important that you use this as your part-time job, your senior year especially with your applications, but it's never too early to start getting the lay of the land and figuring out what's available to me. It's important for me to also note that in your freshman year, we do have some scholarships, such as the Take Stock in Children's Scholarship, that you must apply for in your freshman year. So that's why it's good to be forward thinking. So you noticed I said I think about 90% of the scholarships you'll apply for your senior year. However, Be alert to the ones your freshman year that you need to look at in your freshman year.
Okay, thank you. Have another question.
Sure.
Do you have any tips on dual enrollment versus AP Capstone?
Okay. I had a feeling this question was going to come up tonight. So all opportunities for rigor are really important. And I think it's really up to the student how they view what they would like to do. For instance, in an IB program, you're in a full immersion program. In dual enrollment, you may pick and choose and select certain courses that you would like to take. And you can also take some courses that are high school courses while you embed college courses into that. You can also decide to go full-time dual enrollment. So you really have opportunities. With AP Capstone, my understanding is you are taking several AP classes and you are doing the capstone courses. So it kind of puts the cherry on top of the AP world. I always look at capstone as it's right there at the top. It's kind of the pinnacle of your AP programming. So if you're taking AP courses and you have the ability to do the capstone piece, I'd consider it. I do believe with AP Capstone, you have some opportunities to weave some dual enrollment classes in there as well. So it's very important for students to really analyze each program and determine the best fit for them. And in addition, look where you can fit in some other opportunities, such as the dual enrollment, because it really creates that kind of the smorgasbord approach. Okay. But the AP Capstone is, if you have that available at your school and you're already taking AP classes, you really want to consider the 2 additional courses that are AP Capstone based.
Okay. May I continue with another question?
Sure.
Okay. If a 4-year school doesn't seem right for your student, and maybe a trade school or alternative options would be, how does this plan differ?
So I'm going to tell you, I know I look like I'm 21, but I have a lot of years on me. I've been in this business 25 years, and 19 of them spent at the high school level, the rest at the district. And what I will share with you is students and parents, you know this too, we take a variety of pathways to get where we're going to go. And sometimes, even if we stay in the same career, we'll kind of take detours within that career, and sometimes we totally change careers. So I would say it's really important, because you know your child best, and students, you know yourselves. It's really important to sit down and figure out where are your heart's desires, because we spend the bulk of our waking hours at work. And I would advise students, when I was a high school teacher and counselor, we don't want to spend our lives at a job. We want to live our lives in a career. And when students identify something that really lights their world on fire, that's where they're going to want to get up and go to work every day. And it's their career, it's their vocation, it's their calling. That's huge. And that's what makes us happy. So if a technical college may be where your student's heart is, and they want to go a certain pathway, and you see that spark in their eye, and that's what they're going to want to get up and do every day, I would say, as parents, again, you know your child best, maybe that's the place they start, and that determines for them everything they need to be successful in that career. But at the same time, it may be where they start, and then as they start their career and they decide, you know what, I think I want to do things a little differently, or I want to start my own business related to this, and I'm going to go get my degree in business management. A lot of the technical programs will matriculate to a college degree and allow you to continue. Our technical colleges have a wonderful relationship with our local institutions for those programs to happen, and they're in consistent conversation with each other for those pathways to occur. And so I would say to you, the career choice is the most important piece of that. Post-secondary training that helps a student get to that career choice is also key. Technical college is a great way to go. Students have to find the best fit for them. And I know that was a long-winded answer, and it's a passion, because everyone wants to light the world on fire in their own way, and they have to find that way. And technical college and certificate programs are not always the finish line. For a lot of people, underwater welding, that's where a lot of people stopped, and they're doing a great job, and they're making a lot of money.
Okay. I have a couple more questions. Okay, the next one is, how do you find scholarships?
Okay, so each school has a different way of doing it. A lot of schools are using Google Classroom so that when they post scholarships, parents and students get that alert. I've joined the Google Classroom of a few high schools just so I can see what that's like. And I get alerts several times a day for scholarships that post. As soon as scholarship season heats up, starting in about October, November, you start receiving more and more alerts, and you can go into the Google Classroom and research the requirements for that scholarship and see if it's a good fit. What I would encourage you to do is visit the counseling section of your school's website, and also go to your school counselor, and parents, call the school counselor if you'd like to know directly, how will my child have access to all the scholarship opportunity information? And each school is slightly different, but many of them do use the Google Classroom.
Okay. Next question, is there a recommendation for college application submission? So is earlier better?
Yes, that's my answer. So most schools will do a rolling admissions, and what they'll do is the earlier you apply within their application window, probably the greater likelihood that they're taking those candidates and making those decisions. And then you have schools such as UF, and they have a definitive deadline for application. So you really want to go onto each college's website, and you want to see, are we rolling admissions, and if so, when does the window begin? Be the early bird. Because if their deadline to apply is rolling admissions, and then they say until May 1st, when you apply in March and April, they've pretty much awarded the bulk of their seats, and now they're being extremely competitive about the selections they're making. If you're applying to University of Florida as the example, and they have that definitive deadline for admission, you really want to know that because they're strict on it, and you must have everything turned in. It's not simply hitting submit on your application and then they await your test scores and your transcripts. It's the full package. All of the components need to be submitted by that date. So, and then there are other colleges that they'll say have your application in and then the supporting documents on a different date. So check each school, but yes, the early bird is going to have the better chance of getting the worm. I just dated myself.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's take a break from questions and let's just move through the student action plan. This is slide 2 for the 11th grade students. Continue looking at college websites. Start narrowing your search to 3 to 5 potential schools. Campus visits are important. I've worked with many students that apply to college and they actually take an offer of admission and say, this is where I want to go. And my first question to them is, when did you do your campus visit? And some of them will say, oh, I did them and I love this school. I felt so good on campus. This is where I want to go. Some of my students said, I don't need a campus visit. This is where I want to go. And I would encourage them to do a campus visit. Now, sometimes the campus visits, if they engaged in them, would confirm for them it was their school of choice. Other times they would come back and say, I didn't feel like I belonged there. And it would shift their goal. So campus visits are important, especially junior year before you submit your applications. Know where you feel you fit. Search for potential scholarships. That was back to that question. Educate yourself about what's out there because your senior year, you want to apply and you don't want to be at the beginning of that education piece. You want to be well into it. And choose rigorous academic courses for the senior year. Family. You have a lot of to-dos in this year and the next. Parents, get the facts about college costs. Look at the estimated cost of attendance for each of your students' top schools at this point. Keep in mind, higher education can be affordable. There are a lot of opportunities out there, from financial aid to scholarships, and just it's really important to keep that in mind. There is a post-secondary affordable option for everybody. Explore financial aid options such as grants, scholarships, loans, and work study. So that was summer. In between, now in the fall of the junior year, make sure your child meets with the school counselor. Prepare for that PSAT. Now remember, the 11th grade test is for the National Merit Scholarship Qualifier in October. And encourage your child to set specific goals for the year, which will help with them staying focused and motivated. In the winter, you're going to get the results of that PSAT test. Review the score report because it shows areas of strength and those in need of improvement. And remember that the PSAT connects students to the Khan Academy, which is free. It is prescriptive based on question-by-question analysis of the PSAT as it mirrors the impending SAT that your child is about to take. If you use the Khan Academy to practice, you will improve your SAT score chances from the first time you take that test. And then discuss taking challenging courses next year. Now, my hope is as juniors, you're already in those challenging courses and that you're going to continue that. In the spring, search together for colleges. This is ongoing. Help your child research the scholarships. Attend college fairs and financial aid events. And we have those at the district. That's on the senior slide. Look into summer learning programs. And colleges look for students who do pursue meaningful summer activities, so keep that in mind. And before we move into 12th grade, let's see if we have any more questions. Do we have any right now?
Not at the moment.
Okay, well, seniors, here we come. Okay, senior year. This is how to have a stress-free year. So you've gone through 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. You've done all the things on your to-dos. And parents, you might be wondering, where on earth do I find all this information? Because she's going through it rather quickly. It is all on the link, which is, of course, our resource site that we're launching this month. So on the link, you will find all of this information by grade level. And you'll find additional information. Again, 12th grade, this is where you see your counselor constantly. We love children. We want to see you. I wanted to see my seniors in my office, whether I sent for them or they came to see me. I want to see you. And you want to see us. Keep your grades up. Now, you may have just let out that, whew, I'm done. I applied for college. Sigh of relief. But remember, they're making their admission decision on grades 9, 10, and 11. You're going to keep your admissions offer if you finish grade 12 strong. Every grade matters. And a change in courses matters as well. So your senior year, you might be taking AP Environmental Science. And halfway through your senior year, you might say, you know, I really don't feel like doing this anymore. I'm going to Florida State. I'd rather just kind of go do OJT. Keep in mind, Florida State will be looking at that transcript, and what you reported to that school that you're engaged in this senior year, they expect to see posted as a final completed grade and credit. And if they do not see it, that's where you may end up with a rescission of admissions. So please keep your grades up and stick to the schedule. Take extra rigorous academic courses, and then this is your last shot at SAT and ACT if you're university bound. So if you have not already engaged in the spring, this is kind of like right now, you need to do this in August and September. However, our hope is you've engaged this in the spring, you've done your SAT, ACTs once or twice, and then if you need to test for a higher score, by all means, do that in the first few months of the senior year. August, there's an ACT, and then SAT and ACT in September, and then there are October tests, but watch your deadlines for the rigorous admissions process. And then apply for admission by October. Some of them open in September, so please be aware of when the applications open and go ahead and get started on those. Choose 3 to 5 colleges that interest you the most. Now, I could do a webinar alone on how to strategically choose colleges and pick your applications. And tonight, I know we're like a skipping stone on the surface tonight, but there's more to come. Keep in mind with your colleges that you need to have your reach schools, your target school, and your safety schools. So your reach schools are the schools you really hope to get into, and you may be a strong candidate, but you may not be on that top level of strong freshman profile. Your target schools are the ones you really want to get into, and you have a really, really high chance when you look at the freshman profile and the typical student they select. And your safety school is the one that you are really okay with going to, but it may be your backup plan. So that's how you can rank your colleges and the ones you want to apply for admission to. Revisit the colleges that interest you the most. Now, some students may only have the opportunity, and parents too, to do one college visit. And sometimes that's where the rubber hits the road and you get a sense of where you belong and you know what your rankings are going to be. And in that case, you may not need to revisit, but please consider it if you're still on the fence on some schools. Attend a financial aid workshop with your parents. Now, you'll see in our resource section at the end of this that the district offers college night with over 100 post-secondary institutions every September. Please consider attending that event during any year of high school or multiple years, but especially your senior year and junior year. And then also we offer 4 financial aid workshops in the month of October, sprinkled around the district so you can find one in your zone close to home. And then we also push out any local post-secondary schools that offer the same workshop on their campus. We push out that information to you. So you typically have 5 to 6 occasions to attend a financial aid workshop. The workshops talk about the types of financial aid available to you, and especially how about the FAFSA form, the free application for federal student aid. This is the federal form that all students should consider completing in case they are eligible for aid. And a lot of this is free aid, such as Pell Grants and other grants. You may also be able to apply for work-study programs and some other opportunities. And of course, scholarships cannot be understated, which is why it's on your screen 3 times. Apply for scholarships. Seniors, I said it earlier, I'm going to say it again. This is your part-time job. This is your job. Face-to-face with your counselor, keep in front of them, look in that Google Classroom or whatever way your school advertises scholarships, but meet with your counselor regularly. Some schools have a designated scholarship coordinator, and if that's the case, connect with your counselor, but also make sure they're connecting you to the scholarship coordinator and you consistently visit that person as well. And then, when the admission offers roll in, remember, make your decisions, but to secure your acceptance, send in your required deposit by the deadline so that your college knows, yes, I'm going to be there in August. Okay, now we have the family action plan. So students, that was you. Now parents, the summer before the senior year, college visits. Help your senior finalize their list of colleges. You'll see a lot of this mirrors the senior to-do list. Visit college websites to determine how much might this cost me, and encourage your child and stay on top of that application process. In the fall, make sure your child has met with and continues to meet with the school counselor. You may want to create a calendar with application deadlines and other important dates. It really takes a team effort, and this will help your student. Ensure that your child has already been taking SAT and ACT and they get this last test date done or test dates finished in the fall. Help your child find and prepare for scholarships, and please make sure they're engaging in each of those opportunities. And then when the offers arrive, please review those with your child, not only the offers of admission, but the results of the FAFSA financial aid form and the financial aid packages that each college will offer to your student. So you complete the FAFSA form one time, but each college will review the results of that FAFSA form, and they will put together an offering for you and your student to consider regarding aid. So it's important you review those. And of course, we talked about FAFSA. It opens on October 1st during the senior year. This is the year you will apply. And please be aware of that opening time, because each college has a different deadline that the FAFSA must be filed by. We really encourage families just to do it in October. And the good news for FAFSA is last year, the federal government changed which tax return you use, and now we use what is called the prior tax year, which is helpful because most people have their tax returns completed, maybe not from last year if you needed an extension, but from the previous year, and that's the one you can apply with. So that's important to know. College interviews are also a very important tool. Not only are your college visits important, but setting up interviews with an admissions officer. And this will be for a lot of your rigorous college admissions. You want to make a good impression and have them see you face to face as a student and get to know you, because they're going to determine not only your performance on your transcript, your GPA, and your test scores, and then are you well-rounded, but they really like to see you in person and get an idea of what type of student you are, and if you're really destined to be a Knight at UCF, or a Seminole at Florida State, or a Hurricane at University of Miami, because each school has its own personality, and just as if you need to know if you're comfortable on their campus, they want to know how you're going to fit into their culture. Spring. Once the applications or the offers of admissions come in, parents, it's really important that you help the student sort through the offers of admissions, and we talked about that, so I'm going to roll through this and process the responses. If it's going to be a yes, then you engage in sending that yes and the deposit, and then it's really important to let the other schools know that you thank them for the opportunity, but you've decided to attend somewhere else. As soon as they receive that answer from you, they're going to offer that seat to a student that's been waitlisted. And that's important for those families to hear that good news as well. But your no to those schools, or no thank you, will trigger another student being offered a seat. We talked about reviewing financial aid offers. And then we talked about accepting the college's offer of admittance. I'm to the college planning tools section, so do we have any other questions that we can start?
We do.
Yay, all right, thank you.
All right, so the writer writes, my child is in 7th grade, was offered to test for Duke TIP. Is this worth taking the ACT, SAT, PSAT test this early in their academic career, and is Duke TIP worth exploring?
I fielded this question from a parent by phone yesterday, and I think it's a very valid question. The testing component alone is definitely worth engaging in my opinion. Every time students practice using PSAT, they're planning for the SAT. And anytime they engage in the SAT in 7th grade or the ACT, they're taking the real deal. And that's all the more homework they're able to do in advance, so that when they hit their 10th grade PSAT test, the 11th grade PSAT, the SAT and ACT junior and senior year, they already understand the format of the test. So studies show that when students engage in a test, the first time they take it, they're learning the format and questioning style of the test while they're also trying to prove they've mastered the information. So there's a little bit of distraction there because you're learning the test. However, if you do Duke TIP, even just the testing piece, and you take those assessments as often as you're offered the opportunity, by the time you sit for those assessments to truly earn the college readiness score, you know the format of the test, you know the questioning style. Now you are 100% testing what you know and your aptitude to do high-level work and puzzle through high-level concepts. So the answer is yes. It's important. Now, I know that the Duke TIP program costs money, so that's going to be a personal family decision because it offers enrichment. And I really think parents will need to take that decision on and make that final decision. What I can speak to, however, is the testing piece. I honestly cannot think of a drawback.
Okay, thank you. I have another question. How often do school counselors meet with parents, and do they primarily communicate through the students?
So school counselors offer events that are available to parents, and you'll see, if I could just redirect for a moment to the screen, the district offers parent engagement opportunities such as the one this evening, but also Lee County College Night is every September. The district financial aid nights are every October. And I want to focus on those two events because I'm going to connect them back to the school. So these are events that my office plans every year with the assistance of the high school counseling teams. And our schools are wonderful because the leadership at each school allows the counselors to engage in this at the district level. And we push this event information out to students and parents, and our district communications department ensures that it goes out via parent link and on the website, as well as in the schools. So in this case, I would say these are major events that engage the whole family. Please take advantage of them because it's how we share information for everybody. Now at each school, and by the way, the district financial aid nights are hosted on site at local high schools. College night is at the Suncoast Arena at FSW. Partnered with that, each school will offer their own events. We have one school that offers Junior Palooza and Senior Palooza. And those are events where they want their parents and students to come together in the evening and talk about all topics for juniors and all topics for seniors. Other schools, they may not call it a Palooza event, but we have a lot of schools that do offer their own events. And so those are really important pieces. For parents, call and set up an appointment with your school counselor. I will share that school counselors engage in meaningful conversations with families better, I would say, when an appointment is made, because then we truly set aside that designated time for you. So if you can do that and make an appointment and have your student with you, or I had parents come in and talk without their child sometimes, we want to see that from you. We love to meet with parents. And yes, a lot of the communication comes through the students. A lot of the communication is through Google Classroom and also Parent Link. So I really think while we're pushing out information to parents, we really would love to engage with you. So please come on in, because when we can meet with you individually and really dig deep and help you engage your child in this process, and we know you want to engage as well, it's a win-win.
Okay. What do colleges look for in admissions essays?
I will share, they look for primarily, I was going to say two things. I'm going to add a third. One, they look for the voice of the student. And many times as adults, we get in there and we wordsmith things and we help them make it the way we think it should be. And a college can tell because the voice of the student is subdued, and you can tell the voice of the adults have been in there. So the voice of the student is critical. Secondly, it is a writing sample. So they are looking for grammar and mechanics and a writing style that's like a college level writing style. That's really important. And the third piece they're looking for is, are you a good fit? I'm just going to give you a personal example, and I know that we're probably running short on time. When I applied to Florida State for my doctoral program, I did three things. One, I made sure my essay was my voice. It's very hard for students to write about themselves because they feel like everything is really riding on this one piece. We tell students, just do stream of consciousness, ick it out. Everything that's in your head, just get it out. You can fine-tune that and funnel it down into a succinct piece of writing. But when they have that writer's block, just tell them start typing. And so that typically works. But you want your voice in it as a student. I did a lot of research on Florida State's website. What is their mission? What is their vision? What is their philosophy? What type of what do they offer students? And I'm old, and I'm applying for an advanced degree, and I'm doing what we're asking our 17 and 18-year-olds to do because we need to. And so I did a lot of research, and I had that interwoven into my essay because I wanted to be a Seminole. I needed to make them feel I'm going to make a good Seminole. And then also I had to proofread. I think I even gave it to Mary Lynn to proofread. My husband, my sister, pass it around. Just don't lose your voice as the student in that essay.
Okay, thank you. Can a student with a 3.0 GPA get a scholarship?
There are scholarships for everybody. So what I would encourage students to look for, and this is why we say to really excavate that information and dig into it over the course of your high school career, especially if schools are using electronic tools such as Google Classroom, because you can do it from home. Look through all the scholarships that are being offered and get a sense of the depth and breadth of them. And then also make sure your senior year, you really pull those scholarship applications out and apply for them. We have a scholarship called the Golden Future Scholarship. It's through our Golden Apple teachers and the Foundation for Lee County Public Schools. I happen to be one of the selection committee members, and I can assure you that we are looking for students that can be successful in college We are not looking simply at a 4.0 student or above. We are looking at a student who wants to be an educator, who has a passion for staying in Lee County, and who has taken rigor. And even if you're a B student within that rigor, you're still a very healthy candidate for that scholarship. And that's just one example. So I would encourage you to really do your research, and then senior year, apply with confidence. And you do want to look at all of those different categories and find the ones for you. One other point with scholarships. You hear me focusing a lot on the local access because we have a lot of money available to our students locally. And some of the national scholarships filter that information out through our high schools, like the Gates Millennium Scholarship. It's a national scholarship. We've had multiple Lee County students receive it. However, there are websites that you may go on and search for scholarships. FastWeb is a national scholarship website. You do have to do a lot of digging and searching. I mean, there's a scholarship out there for everything. But if you have time, freshman, sophomore, and junior year especially, while you're sitting at home going through Google Classroom in the scholarship section of your school, start going to FastWeb and some of the other resources that we have available to you nationally, so you can also look at those.
Okay. Another question is a little bit along the lines is, who should I ask to write my college recommendation letters?
Okay. Here's what I would recommend. Definitely teachers who have had you in rigorous courses that can attest to your work ethic and your ability to use higher order thinking skills. So we're looking for, how do I handle rigor? What is my work ethic like? And also know some personal attributes of you as a person. So you know those teachers you have in those classes that you're enrolled in. Secondly, you can have your counselor write letters for you, or an administrator that will be more based on what they see of you, maybe in extracurriculars. It can be a coach as well. So you want to kind of spread your letters out. Definitely pick some teachers, a coach, a counselor, because you want them to address different aspects of who you are.
Okay. That's all the questions we can take right now.
Okay. We are almost out of time, so I would like to, and actually I'm over. My mother tells me I can talk the paint off a wall, and she's right, and I apologize. The college planning tools that I have 2 slides, and these will be posted, but I just want to highlight for you some really important resources. College night, financial aid nights. Florida Shine's website is critical because that's where that free college planning tool, My Career Shines, is available. We want students from elementary through graduation using this. And again, parents, it's an adult tool as well. You can make an account and have access to all of the tools on there. It takes an interest assessment and it connects you to careers that may interest you. And then it connects you to the colleges or post-secondary schools that offer those degree programs or certificates. And then it just really helps you understand, if you like to help people, here's 20 professions that might interest you. Collegeboard.org, this is the SAT site. However, it also has college planning and search tools, access to the Khan Academy, which is that software I told you the PSAT links you to do SAT prep. Very powerful tool. And there's your Khan Academy direct link if you would like to go ahead and link to it as a student. By the way, the trigger point for engaging in this free SAT prep is not taking the PSAT. That's fabulous because it actually takes your results and tells you, here's what you know, here's what you need to work on. This tool is available to middle school students that want to engage in trying to prepare in advance for these college prep exams. So you can start with no assessment. And here's my last screen. The Florida State University System Admissions Matrix. This tool is a matrix or a table, a chart, that our high school counselors are given every year. We go to a meeting called the State University System Directors of Admissions meeting. So guess what? We get to meet with the directors of admissions. And they tell us the average freshman of this year's class, what test score range they had, which grade point average they had, and other items that you will definitely want to look at. And I understand this is a very long link, and that's why we're going to post this PowerPoint so you can click on it. It has a lot of great information for you, but it kind of tells you, am I competitive enough to get into UF? Or if you're a freshman, do I want to earn what I need to get where I want to go? You hear me mentioning UF and Florida State quite frequently, and that's because in the Florida State University system, they're two of the toughest colleges to get into, and that's why I want you to plan in advance so you ensure you are that student. And then the FAFSA application for financial aid, and then if you're a student athlete, the NCAA. Please visit your counselor about NCAA. If you have an interest in playing sports, Division I, II, or III, in the post-secondary setting, this website is key for you. And my last link for you this evening is to our very own Lee County School District website and the section we now call The Link, and our webinar, The Link. This is where you're going to find everything from this evening, plus more tools to help ensure your success. Do we have any other questions this evening?
None that we can take right now.
Okay, so I'm getting the wrap. Thank you so much for engaging with us this evening. I wish you, students, I wish you the best. You are destined for success, and parents, you are a critical element to help your child get there. Please engage with your school counselor on a regular basis. And I thank you so much for listening. And if you think of any other questions, your school counselor can answer those for you, plus more. Have a great evening.
Thank you.